I don't take anything personal. The way I look at it is like, yo, I'm a human, you're a human. Whatever your reason is for not pulling up or showing up or coming through the way you said you would, it's your reason. And it has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't take that to heart. But I do gotta eat that. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta maneuver. But at the end of the day, if you couldn't come through, you just couldn't come through. And it's probably some more to do with you than me.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's the word, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and today we got a very special guest in the building. Man, you got some history, right? The stuff you sent me yesterday, we're going to talk about it. You worked with Ye, also known as Kanye West, for those that don't know. One of the hottest names in R&B in the city right now. Recently did some work with No More Heroes. Man, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Miriah. You know, I do R&B.
So it is Miriah, right?
Yeah.
Because what is it? YouTube, or there's one of them where you spell it out like with the hyphenate, like the hyphenated, and it says Miriah. Break that down.
When I was born, my name was supposed to be Miriah, spelled with an A. My dad spelled it with an I without my mom knowing. And so, like, his story is that it was always supposed to be pronounced Miriah.
It's all right. My dad spelled my name with one T, and this shit's
Shout out to dads.
Man, everybody be calling me Matt with one T.
I'm screaming.
But I like it better because two T's looks weird to me now.
I feel you, right? Like, I like Miriah with an I. But people have also called me Miriah with an I. People are corny. They're not, like, original. I'm sorry. That's not nice.
So recently you started working with No More Heroes.
Yeah.
How did this connection come about?
Life's so wild because I had gave up on music because nobody cared to listen. It seemed that way. And then, like, I was just, like, living my life. And my friend and I, we went to a show. Her cousin, his name's Joanne, he did a show. And then I ended up, like, meeting Laka, and we were just friends and everything. And then, like, he ended up, like, talking about how he was looking for an artist, blah, blah, blah. And I had, like, worked in the music industry on some level. So I was, like, trying to help him find R&B artists. And then ended up being like, yeah, like, I actually did this song. And he heard my music. And then he was like, huh. And I was like, what? And he kind of wanted to work from there. That's kind of it.
Laka can be very strong-minded and opinionated. He's out here on Instagram telling rappers their music sucks.
Yeah, he's not the, you know, we have a different style of delivering our opinions, for sure.
In what ways has he challenged you?
He'll kindly be like, you can do better, you know? Or like, he's very driven. He works really fast. And I'm more like, I like to take my time. I like to pay attention to details. And he'll be like, we got to get this done. You know what I'm saying? Which is good. So it's like a great balance. So he's definitely pushed me to like, go faster.
But with R&B, you got to slow it down.
You should tell him that. I think it's a good balance. Like, you don't want to go too slow because, you know, people's attention spans are crazy. So
how important has having a team been for you, you know, moving into this new era of your music and this rebrand, essentially?
It makes a world of difference. And I really was genuinely blessed to, like, work with people who care to understand me. And then push me. You know what I mean? Like, you hear horror stories of, like, people having management who don't, like, really know who the artist is, or, like, people having people around them who are trying to, like, push the artist to be a certain type of person. So I'm blessed right now. And honestly, they care a lot about the music and they care about me, so it just works really well. Before, I was trying to do it all by myself, and I was moving really slow. So that's why I said the balance matters.
You don't feel like that experience of doing it by yourself had helped you at all?
I think it helps.
In what way?
I think I know how much work they do on the back end. So it makes me appreciate them more, and it helps, like, our communication. So I know, like, if they're saying something I don't necessarily want to hear, I know it's coming from a good place. You know what I'm saying? I think also, like, I understand, like, I mean, I'm super involved in, like, my visuals and, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, creating a world around the music because I did it by myself for so long.
Because you understand the process that it takes to get to where you want to go. And a lot of people don't. When you're blessed with a position where you have management and you have a back-end team right out the gate, you take that for granted, right? And then people leave those situations and eventually they quit. because they realize like, oh, this is a lot harder than it ever seemed like.
You're not wrong. Like, I hear stories like that too, and I've seen that happen. And to be real with you though, like, I never expected help. So this also is new. Like, relinquishing control and letting people like take the reins. I'm used to doing everything myself.
Was that hard for you?
Extremely. It's still hard. Was it crazy? It's still hard. I'd be like, like today, we're literally planning something. And I was like, I could do it. Like, I'll find the cars. You know what I mean? And they're like, I need you to just not. So it's a challenge.
I think for me, I hate waiting on people. I hate it so much. And there's definitely people that can do what I do better in certain things, right? Like editing, taking pictures, editing the pictures. In that aspect, I'll give it to them. Sitting down and creating these conversations, I don't think anybody's doing it better than me. So we'll keep it like that, right? But as far as the back end stuff and the visual stuff, it could 100% be better. But you got to find people that care about what you're doing just as much as you do.
Literally. And that's why the relinquishing control is so hard. Because it's like, this is my baby. You know what I mean? And it feels like nobody can love my baby the way I love it.
So being so involved with the visuals, right? With Pride Kills, you guys got the blindfolds on the people in the background. What is the significance behind this? What's the message you're trying to deliver?
Pride Kills is a metaphor. So like when I wrote the song we're talking about a girl who like is contemplating, unfortunately killing her ex because he cheated on her, right? But it's a metaphor for so many things. Like I grew up in Chicago, right? And so I witnessed how like people have literally lost it all for their pride. You know what I'm saying? And how sometimes the only thing people feel like they have is their pride. Does that make sense? So it's like, that's what people die over, their pride. And so the idea of the blindfold is like when you moving off of pride, you literally can't see past it. Does that make sense? So like for me, it's like if I'm choosing to move off my pride, I'm choosing to do something I wouldn't do in my right mind based off of like you trying to play me, then I gotta put my blindfold on because I'm finna act stupid.
Who hurt you?
I'm screaming.
Who inspired the song? Like, what was the moment that you felt like that, where you were just completely moving off the pride?
It's been a couple of times where like I'm just like, oh man, because I'm a really I like to think I'm a kind person, and I'm also very genuine and transparent. So it's like I think people take advantage of that, and so I've had multiple people I've dated. Like maybe I'm thinking of one specifically, so we'll go there. There was a guy I was dating, and he like basically like tried to play me. Like he's actually running around talking about me now as we speak. So it was just like one of those moments where it's like, hey, yo, like, I know you've never seen me act crazy, but you won't get it until you get it. You feel that way. But I always try to like take the blindfold off and think through my actions before I act out of character.
So what was the out of character action that symboled Pride Kills?
What did I want to do? Because I didn't actually do it.
You didn't kill him?
Nah, I absolutely did not kill him. He's still breathing to this day, talking shit. I didn't actually kill him.
If you wanted to kill him, don't say that on camera.
I never want to kill anybody. I will say, though, he hurt my feelings. And so, like, when somebody close to him tried to shoot their shot, and I didn't fold, but I entertained it. You know what I'm saying? And that's not me. I acted completely out of character. But it was just one of those situations where it was like, you don't care. You playing me. You talk about me. You disrespecting me. And you said you don't care. So it's like, okay, I guess this is okay. But I quickly like realized like that's not something I want to do. So I stopped entertaining it. You know what I mean? And that's the whole acting out of character part. And the point of Pride Kills is to encourage women and people that it's not worth it. Like, don't lose yourself because someone hurt you.
Is that where the tweet of y'all not who you really think y'all are comes from?
I tweeted that in a place where I was just like, people are afraid of showing up as themselves in general. Yeah, that wasn't about that. That was about something else.
Take that further though, right? What do you mean people are afraid to show up as themselves?
I think in relationships, and I think in general, like it's really rare that you run into people who like are comfortable enough in their skin to be who they are in every space. And I think that I meet a lot of people who are performing, and because I'm always genuine and authentic, I rub them the wrong way because I like, I push. The same way you ask questions during interviews, I ask questions all the time. Like I want to know who people are for real, And when people first meet me, they're usually open, and then like as I get to know them a little more, they get closed off or they get irritated, or like if I call them out on like certain things that, you said this and then you're doing this, it's the whole issue. So I think that day I was just blue. I'm like, y'all really not who y'all portray yourselves to be.
So you hold people accountable.
I do, because I hold myself accountable.
But I think that's the society that's been created, right? Or that's the perception in society that's been created, is that we have to be certain personas and we have to be certain people. So it's hard for people to show up as their authentic self and truly embody every single thing that they say they are, right? And even for me, I think that sometimes it is easier to just live as this character that you created, because people don't want to actually know the real you most of the time. They just want something from the character that you are.
Or the character they created in their head. I feel that. I mean, you're not wrong. So, I mean, even me feeling that way, it's never coming from a place of like I'm judging you for how, or judging people for how they're showing up. It's always just like acknowledging like you're not being for real. I wish you could be for real. I wish you felt safe, being for real. But I do get it. Like, we don't live in a society that encourages authenticity, and that's unfortunate.
Is that why you felt so scared to share your music or to be this singer that you wanted to be?
That, and I just didn't think it's going after your dreams is not logical. So and I'm like a creative, but I'm also very like type A in certain ways. And I think that like putting everything into my dream just didn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Especially when like I was a kid, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go for this. And my dad was just like, maybe you shouldn't do that. And I think that kind of just stayed in the back of my head, So I didn't really start making music until like maybe 4 years ago. But I always wrote. I was always singing, always writing, always I literally wanted to go to college to learn how to write so I could do better music.
I always wanted to do music growing up. I always wanted to be involved in music in some way, shape, or form, right? So growing up, I always loved to sing. Like I wanted to be a singer. Then just like you, right? Somebody tells you, oh, well, like pick something more realistic. And as you get older, that's what you continuously hear. Pick something more realistic, pick something more realistic. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll try production. And I was going to do that. And then it just kind of was like, I always said I would and never really did it. And it wasn't until COVID when I had been talking about doing a podcast. My homie just got a studio. I slid on him and he's like, all right, I'll help you. And was literally like,
that's fire.
He was like, when you want to start? I said, next Wednesday. He said, why not this Wednesday? And after that, 4 years later, that's kind of like, the story type shit.
That speaks to community though. Like, and I like how you were asking me before, like, what's the difference between having a team, Like, he said, why not today type vibes, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's do it. And that's kind of how they are with me. They're like, let's just do it today. They push me when I don't really like see it for myself. And you need that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because literally following your dreams is not logical. It will never make sense.
It's not, because you're literally chasing something that nobody guaranteed it to you. Nobody said, if you take these specific steps, you will be famous. You will be rich. You will not have to worry about anything in life. And that's a misconception a lot of people have, is that because you see the success, because, I mean, for you, right, you just did 39,000 on YouTube, something like that. You do 39,000 on YouTube. It's not the biggest number, but it's a big number for people who have 2 songs out. So people see that coming from somebody with 2 songs out and they're like, oh shit, like she's moving already. Like she about to be out of here. But in reality, there's behind the scenes shit going on.
Even hearing you say that is like, wow. Cause I'm just thinking about the fact that was doing this shit last year and nobody was paying attention. I'm not gonna say how many views my YouTube got last year, cause that's embarrassing. But it was not 39,000. You know what I'm saying? And it just speaks to like God will literally bring the people to you when you need it. And that's why like the point of dreams is for you to tap into your faith. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that like everything that we're meant to do here, you're going to need God and you're going to need community for. Anything you can do just off your own strength, I don't really think that's what you're meant to do.
So if you understood the fact that chasing this dream was so illogical, why did you chase it all the way out to LA with no plan, just hope and faith?
My foundation is faith in God. So like if I feel like I'm supposed to do it, also I have money saved. So I'm not going to say I was just out there like with $1 in my pocket. Like it wasn't giving J. Cole.
You were couch surfing?
Not even. I'm not going to hold you like. It was like the perfect situation. I was teaching before then actually. So I was teaching and then like I had saved like a couple $1,000s. It was COVID. Crazy work. It was COVID. And then like at first I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just try to like put this money I'm saving into like some investment properties, da-da-da-da. And my OG, she was like, why don't you just like go to LA like you talked about before? And I was just like, it doesn't make sense to do that. You know, like I don't have any money to last me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have like music out. Like that's stupid. She was like, I think you should just go. And I like, you know, whatever. But then my sister said the same thing. So then that community piece too, you feel me? So I was just like, okay. And so I literally was like, fuck it, I'm going to go. It didn't make no sense. It happened to work out. Crazy story. Do we have time for this?
I mean, if we don't, it'll get cut. But
okay.
Go ahead.
But crazy story. Literally the day before I was supposed to go to LA, like somebody like hacked my bank account.
Ain't no
and
way.
Took all my soul.
And you got that shit back?
Man, what? Yeah. But it was like a hassle. Like it took me like a month to get my bread back. Luckily, I had already put like the deposit down on my apartment and everything. But bro, like it was crazy work. I'm like, I actually can't believe this.
God was trying to tell you not to go.
I don't think that. No, that's a lie.
You see that?
Cause I genuinely believe like the closer you get to what you're supposed to do, like it's just gonna be inhibitions. That's always how it worked. Anytime I was trying to do music for real, it's always something crazy happen.
Did you ever see that TikToker? Where it was like super early in COVID, where he'd be like, "Ayo, God," and he'd be like, "What it do?" You know what I'm talking about?
No facts, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And he's like a rapper, and they're like, "Man, why won't you let me rap?" They're like, "We sent you the flood."
I'm screaming.
and you thought it was meant to prevail. We made the power go out. You still dropped your mixtape. He's like, I thought I was supposed to do it. He's like, no, we were trying to tell you to stop.
That's funny as hell.
But yeah.
That's funny as hell.
That was you in real life. For
you
real.
So bogus. I don't think that's what that meant. But you know, we here now, so it's cool. It don't matter.
So out there, you got a chance to work with Ye.
I did.
How did that line up?
I moved out there. I'm out there for like 3 months. And I'm just like writing, working on music, da-da-da. And I was asking for a referral because I was like, okay, I'm gonna start looking for jobs now. And the lady who I asked for the referral I worked with before, she was just like, do you want a job? And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm asking for a referral. And she was like, okay, I have a job for you. And she like calls me and it was like working with Ye. And that's literally how it happened.
So what were you doing?
So I like worked on Sunday service, like production. I helped like build out different projects. I really did whatever they wanted me to do for real. You know? I was involved in like multiple projects with him.
They didn't make you to sign no NDA?
They did. That's why I can't tell you everything. But I'm giving you some.
What kind of church were they running?
I'm hollering. Nah, like, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, the intention was pure. The intention with all of it was pure. And I'm glad that I got to see that part. Because it's like, everybody around him didn't always have the best intentions, but he always had the best intentions.
What year was this?
This was 2021.
I was trying to think what album.
It's like 2020. Donda.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy time.
Were you doing the Donda performances? You were at Soldier Field walking around in circles?
I don't know. I wasn't. Nah. I had tickets to that concert, to that like Drake and Kanye concert.
No.
Is you talking about?
No.
You're not talking about the Larry Hoover?
Yeah, Kanye went crazy for that one though.
That was, it was such a, because I'm from Chicago. So I'm like, y'all don't get it. This is such a moment. Like, I'm in the stands going crazy. I'm like, this is Larry Hoover. Like, you don't understand.
What do you feel like that opportunity taught you about yourself, both personally and artistically?
Personally, it taught me how resilient I was. And it also just like, I don't know, different experiences teach you different things about yourself. Like, I hadn't been exposed to that level of, he works really hard and really fast. So I hadn't been exposed to like that level of like work ethic. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like very detail oriented. So it made me like, I just had to work fast and be like super aware of everything I was doing. But also like, he wanted you to be creative. So it was like, I had to like, that's how it helped me be creative. Like, it helped me be intentional about my creativity, if that makes sense. Before I was like all over the place. But it helped me like hone in on like, okay, what am I trying to convey? And how do I convey that? And how do I do it faster, So that part. And then just being around him, like he was always like just spilling out ideas, like throwing paint at the wall, So it made me like feel less afraid to try shit, you know what I mean?
I love that for you. What kind of songs came out from that?
It's some stuff y'all haven't heard yet. It's stuff that's like not out. Like it just, being around those level of creatives made me like try different sounds, and like it pushed me to hop on different beats. Like I don't know, like, and test my voice out. Like I think people expect R&B to always be like kind of soft. Like it made me like tap into like the raspiness of my voice, and like it's stuff that y'all haven't heard yet, where I'm like just different vocal inflections and production, stuff like that.
So being at that level and seeing how it impacted the way that you were starting to move creatively, why did you step away from this version of that dream?
Being at that level is intimidating. Like you're seeing people excel and they're like at the heights of their career with hella experience. So it just highlights your flaws. You know what I mean? And I mean, it can either break you or it could push you harder. And I think for a while I let it push me. And then when I saw that like nobody cared, it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, maybe this isn't for me.
What is it that makes you say that, though? The fact that you feel that nobody cared?
My friends listened to my music, but I wasn't reaching anybody who didn't know me personally. So it just felt like, okay, this is not connecting, And you know how you see like those 50-year-old rappers who still like trying to pass out mixtapes on the street when we don't even do that no more? But I was just like, I don't want to be that person.
But do you feel like it was a substance thing or it was a marketing thing?
I think it was both, but I didn't know that at the time. I think in hindsight is 2020. So I think now I'm like, you didn't know how to like convey your images. Like you didn't know how to put together like visuals that made sense. Like I had ideas, the execution. I liked the execution. And I didn't have help either. So like, yo, it's like when you hitting niggas like all week and you don't have no bread to pay them for real. And like everybody's like, yeah, I got you. And they don't got you. Like things just don't get done. You know what I'm saying? And it's like no shade to them. Like they're living lives too. But it's like, this is my baby and I want this done. And sometimes it just doesn't get done. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So,
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in a world where I do this. You would think I reach out for a little help here and there. Like, you got me.
And they don't be having you.
I don't even want to get into that. I don't want to talk bad about nobody. I've turned a new leaf. I turned 25. I'm trying to get my life right.
The way I look at it, I don't take anything personal. The way I look at it is like, yo, I'm a human, you're a human. Whatever your reason is for not pulling up or showing up or coming through the way you said you would, it's your reason. And it has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't take that to heart. But I do gotta eat that. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta maneuver. But at the end of the day, if you couldn't come through, you just couldn't come through. And it's probably some more to do with you than me.
You're making me think of something that they would say in therapy.
I'm screaming. What would they say in therapy?
Well, I don't go to therapy. But you know what? I've been, again, turning 25, it makes you start to think
Changing
like,
your life.
let me get my shit together, right?
Mhm.
And doing this, I've really broken down, okay, this is probably where this comes from, this is probably where this comes from.
Yeah.
How do I deal with that?
Yeah.
How do I maneuver around life with these things that have continued to impact me? And I know they're impacting me, but
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like this anymore.
Facts.
What do you feel like are some of those things for you?
I think I've just dealt with a lot of grief in my life, especially recently. And I think that it shows up in ways like it's crazy. It shows up in ways that, you don't expect it to, right? Um and like grief is such a process too. Like you're good one day and you're not good the next. So I don't know. It just shows up in like abandonment issues and like, you know, it impacts my relationships in negative ways.
You know, I got to ask you, right?
What's the question?
Where do those abandonment issues stem from?
It's the same story, like Black American dad story. You know what I mean? Like my dad, he just had his own traumas. He grew up in Inglewood. You know what I'm saying? He watched his friends get shot and killed. So like he just never really learned. And he's also a man in America. So like I think he just never really learned how to love well. So I think that, he was as present for me as he could be, but he was definitely not. He was very much in and out of my life. So like, and I was a daddy's girl too. So for a while, it like just, it just showed up as abandonment issues and like me being angry or like whatever the case was. As I got older, I learned a lot about forgiveness and I've completely forgiven him because I don't take it personal. I know it was a him thing, but I do think that grief, the abandonment from him shows up in a lot of different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm definitely like, I shouldn't be in anybody's relationship. But I know that, self-awareness.
What do you mean you shouldn't be in anybody's relationship? Not even your own, or?
Nah, I'm someone who like, so it's like abandoning my dad, but then also like I lost a lot of men in my life, whether it be to like mental illness or like cancer. You know what I'm saying? So like I think it's just hard for me to trust that men will stay around. Just to be honest. And so it shows up in how I move. Like I'm just very hyper independent, and it's all protection. It's like I would prefer my life where I don't have to depend on you. So just in case you choose to leave, it's no harm, no foul. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a healthy way to enter relationships because relationships are about codependence. Not codependence, that's wrong. Interdependence. Yeah, please don't be codependent. That's unhealthy.
Clearly, the loss of all these men in your life has continued to follow you. And being impacted by that, it's something that, unfortunately, it wasn't something you could control, right? And that's the hard thing for us to understand sometimes is the fact that I didn't choose for this to happen to me. I didn't choose to want to be like this. In the situation where with your dad, a lot of people, and it's not just the Black American family, it is a lot of families where unfortunately the dad isn't as present as he should be, right? And you talk about that daddy's girl analogy, it's a story that a lot of people go through. They depend on their parent, they depend on the person they look up to always follow through and set the example of what this person that I'm supposed to love is supposed to be like. This is my version of love, right? And out the gate, you were dealt a hand of, well, love isn't the most pure. How did that perception impact the way that you moved in your relationships?
As soon as things got too deep or like I felt myself like relying on a man, because I think we all try to talk so tough. Everybody does, but everybody wants to be loved and understood, and it feels really comfortable. It feels really good to feel safe being loved and to love, right? So when I would get in situations where I started feeling safe loving someone or feeling like they would show up consistently, I would just push them away.
You're giving me war flashbacks.
Which I know is not healthy. I go to therapy. You should try it. No, honestly though, yeah, like I know that that's not a healthy thing to do, right? But I know where it comes from. It's just because it's like, I feel you care about me now, but you might not care about me tomorrow. And it won't even be no harm, no foul. It's just like, okay, I just gotta protect myself and make sure that you don't hurt me.
So I take it you've often cut off the healthy relationships and pursued the toxic ones.
I don't cut off healthy relationships. They usually give me a reason to cut it off.
Is it a reason or you're looking for the reason?
I don't really search for the reasons. The reasons just present themselves. I don't know. I used to choose relationships where I knew like the person probably took the expectations I had in my head. Either that or I'll be the person that would never be able to meet the expectations they had in there. Because both were safe. Because it's like, all right, it's not going to work anyway. So,
Damn, you're fucking me up right now. What were those expectations that you had that you didn't feel like others would be able to meet?
nothing crazy, just consistency. But it's like if you're choosing a person who you know like works really hard and isn't emotionally available, they're not going to be consistently available to you. Show up. It's like I was choosing my dad over and over again and wondering why I was so upset.
That's what your mind was comfortable with. You chose familiarity, and when you found something that wasn't familiar, which was that person that was able to be emotionally available, you said, all right, I'm out.
It's a human nature thing, for sure. We gravitate to what we're familiar with. You got to train yourself out of that, which is why I said I don't do that anymore. I don't see now.
At what point did you realize you needed to leave that alone?
I think you get a little older and you realize that life is already hectic enough and there's no need to keep putting yourself in chaotic situations, you know? I started realizing that people around me should only add to me and not take away from me.
You turned 25 and realized you needed to get your life together.
Literally, just like you.
I'm telling you, there's something about people say your frontal lobe fully develops at 25.
You said it just clicked. Everything just looks
everything
clear.
started to make more sense.
That's so funny. I feel you. I feel you, bro.
With Pride Kills and Old Shoes, these songs are focused and centered around relationships. And even in your Apple Music profile or your Spotify profile, it says Miriah explores not only romantic relationships, but also her journey with faith, family, and friendships. Why is it you found relationships to be the main focus in your music?
This is a glimpse of what I've written. So I think right now, relationships is just an avenue to talk about larger topics, right? So like Pride Kills, like I said, is a metaphor. So it's a story about a girl, but it's a bigger theme behind it to me. I think that's a universal theme of like we let pride fuck us up, you know, and fuck up our relationships in general. But I also do think like relationships, like romantic relationships, really like impact all of us deeply. So that kind of comes up.
Relationships find their way of impacting the way you talk, the way that you move, the things that you think about on a daily basis, and even your triggers.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Which relationship had the biggest impact on the way that you viewed love?
I think the last one, the guy who's calling me crazy. Yep, that one. I think because like I'm just so picky. Like I've only been in, I want to say 2 relationships in my whole life, for real. And I wasn't dating people in high school. I didn't start dating until like college, for real. So like I'm just so picky. And if I pick you, it's because like I do. We're not counting situationships. That doesn't matter.
I mean, you could.
No, we don't count those.
Those fuck you up a lot too.
I mean, but yeah, they do. But in those situations, I was more in control. It doesn't matter.
You weren't invested.
Nah, I wasn't locked in. But if like I chose you, like I don't be doing that. So I think with him, we were like friends before everything. And then he just did some foul shit, you know? And so basically,
And he called you crazy?
he called me crazy. He's calling me crazy as we speak. It's actually hilarious.
This man hates you.
He does. No, it's actually diabolical. I mean,
Is that who Old Shoes is about?
Old Shoes was just like a play on like, you know, the original song. I pulled from different things because he does have a new girlfriend. But that song is more like, it was wordplay in it, you know? And it was like the theme came from like Sailor's song. She was talking about her ex with his new girlfriend. So I just like, you know, hopped on it.
So then in what ways did this relationship change your perspective of love?
It taught me a lot about forgiveness and unconditional love. So like, he did me dirty in a lot of ways, but I like just loved him. Like, it was just kind of like, you know, I still wish the best for you. Like, even when we broke up, I wasn't talking bad about him. Like, I genuinely was like, I just want everything that he wants. I want him to have that. You know what I'm saying? But like, it taught me about forgiveness because, as I just told you, I'm getting told, I literally just got told like a week ago that he's been calling me crazy. And I'm like, I'm literally speaking about you so highly. This is crazy. So, but granted, also like I while I was still getting over him, like I was running into him and his ex a lot. And I don't run into any of my ex, not his ex, his new girlfriend. So I was running into him and his new girlfriend a lot. And I usually don't run into any of my exes. So I don't know. I just kept having to be faced with like the fact that like he's over you. He doesn't care. You need to move on and you can't be mad about it. Like you got to forgive him for anything that he did wrong. So like I had to really go deep within myself and just let it go so I can move on.
Do you feel like you've truly let it go?
Absolutely. I have no desire.
I think that there's a difference between letting go of the desire of wanting to be with them and letting go of the situation. Because letting go of the desire to be with them is the fact that I don't even want you in my life anymore. But letting go of the situation that's letting go of the pain that was caused by that situation, right?
Facts. I feel you.
And even with that being said, it comes down to the fact that sometimes you just got to let the situation go and say, I am straight here, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite songs is Big Sean and Bryson Tiller, Still Yours. And specifically for the line where it says, hold up, who gonna leave who at this point? Friends, stop listening, tease you, don't believe you, feel so out of character to play your role. Sometimes you gotta break your heart to save your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to leave that situation because even though you want to hold on to it so bad, even though you think that, damn, I love this person and I am never gonna find anybody better, you have to break your own heart to be able to hold on to the piece of you that can still love, that can still move forward and really hold on to who you are, right? Because you stay in a relationship for so long that's toxic, right? Every weekend you say, damn, we're done. By Monday, you're back straight.
I wouldn't say he's someone that like I hold on to any of that with. There is a more recent situation that like it's just so a lot of love there. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, dude, I don't care at all
The one
about
that calls you
situation.
crazy?
Yeah, I don't care about that situation at all. I just think he wild for moving like that. But the more recent situation, I think like it's still some wounds there.
How so?
It's just because it was such a healthy situation that I just had to let go of.
That sounds crazy.
Like I told you, I shouldn't be in anybody's relationship right now. And I just realized that. So it was like, you actually just need to leave this alone. Also, because like I'm trying to go so hard in my career and it's like I don't have time to really be the best girlfriend. So I had to leave that alone. And there's so much love still there. So it's kind of like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? I've never been in a situation like that where it's like this person treats you amazing and you treat them well and y'all don't really have no problems, but it just can't work.
So you don't think you could do both?
Nah, because we don't have problems, like big problems, but I told you I'm not relationship ready. I like my triggers still come up. And it's like if I'm dealing with a healthy person and I'm like just getting triggered by little things. And it's like I can talk through that. I can tell you what's going on, but I'm still feeling away and you feel I'm feeling away. It's like not fair to you. And if I care about you, I should just like heal before I try to be with you.
Do you think that this is partially because your version of who you view yourself as has been damaged by previous relationships?
I would think that if me and this person haven't had like conversations about it extensively. Like, cause if they feel bad for hurting my feelings, even though it wasn't intentional, right? So like if my like triggers and abandonment issues are showing up because like you can't show up to something I got going on, you know what I'm saying? But you're not doing anything wrong. It's just you're busy. And I'm like feeling away. And I communicate that I'm feeling away. And you know that. And we both know what's going on, but you feel bad now and you didn't do anything wrong. Like that's like a terrible whirlwind to put somebody through. Does that make sense? Like I'm just sending you through a roller coaster for what? You know what I mean? And like we've talked about it. So I'm just like, that's not fair.
You know what though? It's good that you're healthy enough to realize that.
It's growth, right? Yeah, like I would rather like end it now. Like to that point, like let's not do the like us traumatizing each other thing, because then we can never come back from that. Like I think at this point it's still like we could potentially come back from that. Maybe, if it's supposed to.
Is that where the phrase that you wrote on the paper back in 2024 came from? Where it says, I will wait for you because I don't want nobody else in your heart.
I'm overly toxic in certain instances. And I think that's just like, that was me just, so my art, like, because I'm so logical, I try not to move off emotion. I do in some ways, but I try to like at least think through what I'm doing before I do it. And so like my music is where all of it comes out. My art, my visuals, like all of the toxic just spills out a little bit. And so like that I Will Wait for You, it was actually inspired. I cannot think of the artist. This photographer. He did it painting. And then like it said, I will wait for you. And then I just added it like because I don't want nobody else in your heart, right? So that comes from a place of like me literally being possessive. And like, yeah, like facts. Like if I care about you that much, like let's figure it out.
But that's what we do as a society. That's what people do. We hold on to people because we don't want nobody else to have them.
Facts, but does that make it healthy?
I mean, probably not. Because a lot of us aren't even ready to have that level of commitment.
Exactly. Which is the whole point.
You know, this was 21-year-old me. We think that because we communicate the fact that I am not ready for this and you chose to stick around, that's on you. That's on that person, right? In our minds, we think that we've absolved ourselves of any responsibility because we let this person know.
Facts. And that's literally not how that goes. I did that too.
That's not you. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at me.
Yo, I've had my moments for sure. And those never end well. You know what I mean? Like, which also is why, like, what I want to really portray in my music is just the humanity of women too. I think that like in music, women are especially R&B music, like women are kind of like pigeonholed into like this one version of what it looks like to be a woman. And I think we don't tell all the stories. Like I'm sometimes the bad guy too. Sometimes I'm the good guy. And sometimes it don't have nothing to do with you niggas. Sometimes I'm really just going through life. And I just want more stories told by women in the R&B space about like us being human. And I wonder if they saw us as human, they being people, if we be treated better, protected more, seen differently. You get what I'm saying?
Elaborate a little more.
I just think as a woman, I have different struggles than men do. Specifically as far as feeling protected, feeling safe. Like literally I just got robbed. Like a week. It's not funny. I laugh to like.
It's okay. I'll laugh with you if it makes you feel better.
But no, I'm like sitting in my car like 2 weeks ago or whatever. And like these guys are like waiting outside my car. You feel me? Because I'm a girl by myself. And you feel me? And they run up on me. And it's kind of just like, I feel it's a level of like vulnerability that we have as women. And I think part of that is like, we just not viewed or respected as humans first. I think we're just viewed as commodities. Like we hear it in the music. You see it in like the level of like assaults. You know what I'm saying? I went somewhere, but
How do you feel like that lack of safety has impacted you mentally?
It's doing a number on my mental. I'm not gonna hold you. Yeah, it also plays a role in like how I move in all my relationships. Cause it's like I don't even know. I don't even think I fully processed how unsafe I feel as a woman, especially by men. And I think a lot of men don't understand that because they don't have that layer. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't walk down the street and like just have a bad day because you're gonna feel like if you shoot your shot at me and I'm ignoring you or saying no, it's a shot against you. And now I could potentially be hurt or harmed. You know what I'm saying? And that's like, it makes you hyper vigilant. And it like, you know, our body holds our stress. So I definitely think that it's doing a number on me, but I'm like practicing trying to like release my stress in healthier ways.
Aside from trying to portray this vulnerability and show this other side of reality for women, what are some of those other stories that you hope to share?
I just want to be honest.
What do you want people to really understand about women?
Women and men, just people in general, people are people. Like, we're not as different as we think we are. Like, I want people to understand that, like, the same struggles like you going through, like these rappers talk about losing their friends and their homies and stuff. We do that too. We're dealing with that too. They talk about like how they tired of being broke. Us too. We don't want to be broke no more. You feel me? Like, for real. Like, I wonder what the world would look like if men viewed women as people first. I wonder how many more friendships would be developed from that. I wonder, like, you know what I'm saying? Better relationships would come out of that too. Because if you would be my friend first, we could like be fire. You know, it could probably last longer. So I think that, and I think also just like my faith. Like I want people to think a little differently about life. Like I think this whole life has more purpose than we allow ourselves to believe.
What do you believe the purpose is?
I think only God knows. And I think the journey is for you to get to know God so you know what your purpose is.
Do you think women and men can be friends?
Absolutely.
Just friends.
Yes, men and women can be friends. Absolutely. Like, yo, everything was so simple when we were younger. Like, everybody just overthinks it. Like,
you ever watch the movie When Harry Met Sally?
I did, but that's TV, and that's also the problem. Like, if people would actually go outside and talk to people instead of watching movies and TV, then they could actually have encounters that make more sense. Seriously. Like, I think if more men just chose to talk to women as opposed to just looking at them as like something they can conquer, then I think we would have better friendships.
Girls like to have a more open line of communication and more consistency in each other's life for a successful friendship to be taking place, right? Because every type of relationship is valuable. I think that guys just kind of lose that sense because they're like, well, if I'm just your friend, I will catch you when I catch you type shit.
I feel what you mean. And that it's some validity to that. But I also think that like women have different types of friends too. I got friends that like I only talk to 3 months at a time, you know, every 3 months or something like that. I got friends I talk to every day. I got friends that like that's just my kick it friend. Like we know we just gonna go hang out. I got friends who like we might just go play tennis. I don't play tennis, but you get what I'm saying. You feel me? Like, and I think y'all have similar friendships. There are like some guys, like some homies that y'all be closer to. That y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all probably just talk in a group chat every day as opposed to like one-on-one, which y'all probably talk at least 3 times a week. Cause that's your homie. So I feel like the relationship might just look different. I think the problem is, you know, everybody just wants to be so nasty. And if everybody would stop trying to be so freaky, we could all be friends.
I do have my homies that I hang out with probably like every other week or every week, right? But those are like my popping out homies. And even as I've continued to get older, I understand like these are probably, who was I talking to? I think I was talking to my mom or somebody. And, you know, you start to see like, okay, these are the people that are probably going to be like at my wedding, like standing up at my wedding type shit. In my head, it was always like the people I grew up with. It was always the homies that I grew up with. And as time went on, they don't answer the phone when I call them. They don't text me back right away. Matter of fact, those specific two, didn't text me until the day after my birthday. And they were like, damn, my bad, I suck. I'm like, yeah, you do. You owe me some fucking dinner and drinks.
No facts.
But it's the fact that, like, those were the people that I always thought, and life changed. Like, I turned 25 and life changed.
Nah, I think as you get older, friendships change, though, in general. And that's why you just can't take nothing personal.
Would you say you're a good friend?
I have friends here who can answer that question. But no, I do. I think I try to be a good friend. I try my hardest, but I'm not as present as I could be in a lot of instances. But it's all based on what people need. So to some people, I'm a great friend. And to some people, I'm not so great.
I'll say this. I'm the one that calls them. I don't like texting because you don't get a quick response. I like to call people and be like, what's the word? How you doing? What you gonna be on? If you're not free, all right. If you are, like, let's go do some shit real quick, right? People don't like to answer the phone.
I'm not a phone answerer either. But no, that's because I like to text. Because it's like, I could text you at any time. Like, if I'm running around, I can't answer your call. And I can't guarantee you that I'm going to call you back because I might forget. And it's not that I don't care about you.
It takes, like, if you are having a standard conversation with somebody, it's going to take 3 to 5 minutes.
Potentially, but maybe I don't have 3 to 5 minutes. Because
you always got 3 to 5 minutes.
Not always.
You always have 3 to 5 minutes.
See, and this is why people think people are bad friends. Because it's all perspective, right? So in my head, it's like, I'm not ignoring you. I just genuinely don't have 3 to 5 minutes. Why? Because either I'm working or I'm like trying to help my family out, or I'm literally just trying to catch my breath and I might just want to watch TV for an hour because I never get to do that. So maybe I don't have 3 to 5 minutes today and maybe we could schedule a call.
So hold up, right? That guy that you wanted to text you for X amount of hours, right? What do you say?
Okay, you're saying like if I'm dating somebody?
Yeah.
And like he don't text me back for a couple hours?
For X amount of hours, what do you tell your friends?
I don't care. I'm not that girl.
No, hold on.
Okay.
But what do people be telling their friends?
No, the girls don't like that.
They say if he wanted to, he would.
That's fair, but I also think that's strange. I think that's strange, and I think that means that you're not considering the whole human in their life or their perspective. You cannot, to me, you can't expect people to do certain things without considering their perspective. Like, I think if I care about you, I'm going to consider why you're not doing something before I assume you're not doing it because you just don't like me. If you don't text me back for a couple hours, you probably working. Like, you're probably busy.
I get that because you can't expect you out of everybody else. But I think that when it comes down to it, if you really care about somebody and you really want to make the time, you're going to make that effort, right? So if I call you and maybe I don't got 5 minutes, answer the phone, be like, yo, we'll talk later or some shit. That's my thing, right? Because if I'm working, if I'm editing, I could think of 10 different scenarios right now where even if somebody calls me, I'm going to pick up the phone, right? Or I'm going to hit them with the text and be like, yo, can't talk right now.
So, okay, facts. So I thought you were against texting. I can't talk right now. Because like if somebody called you right now during this interview, you're not answering the phone. Exactly. So that's the point I'm making. So I'm like, okay, cool. If you text them like, hey, I can't talk right now, but I'm going to hit you back when I can or when you free later. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's acceptable. Yeah? That's all I'm saying. I do feel you, though. I do think that, like, we have to prioritize the people that we love. And I think when people stop feeling like they're a priority to you, that's when a conversation needs to be had. And I don't think you're wrong in that. I think that we need to talk. And I think people ruin relationships because they shy away from the hard conversations. Nobody wants to hear that they're wrong or nobody wants to be perceived as the bad guy. And so instead of like having conversations that actually make everything make sense and makes everybody get on the same page, people shy away from those conversations because they don't want to, be looked at as wrong. But if we talked about shit more, like if people actually sat down and like said, hey, I feel this way, and we didn't get defensive, a lot of shit would get solved. Straight like that. Like, you really should call your friend and be like, yo, y'all missed my birthday. That really pissed me off. Like, I need you to put my birthday in your calendar. And next time I need you to call me on my birthday. So I know you care. That's how I know you care.
Man, these fools like my Instagram post.
Yo, men are not good friends to men. But it's the same reason why they're not the best boyfriends a lot of times. Because y'all don't know how to express emotion. Okay, fair. It's not you. You're not the problem. It's every other man.
That's the problem. I be thinking I'm not the problem all the time.
Nah. I do think we all gotta like try to understand where everybody's coming from first before just getting offended. We gotta stop taking shit so personal. Like, have a conversation. Cause they might give you a reason that's valid. And if they don't give you a reason that's valid, at least they know how you feel.
What do you think's been the hardest thing that you had to come to terms with yourself about?
That I'm not perfect. I never thought I was perfect. But it's like, I'm really realizing like.
But like, what aspect of that, right? What do you feel like was the flaw that was the hardest for you to accept?
I think I'm a procrastinator. Because I'm a perfectionist. And I think that it just shows up really bad in my relationships. So like, I'm hard on myself, and then I end up self-sabotaging.
So we're gonna touch on this relationship thing one last time, because I feel like we've talked about relationships a lot. But when we talk about these toxic relationships, a lot of the times we automatically think about the bad times and the way it was impacting us during that situation, right? But I think that sometimes the hardest part is what comes after that. Because throughout that relationship, you are being your brain is almost being rewired to view yourself in a certain light. You're being told these things about yourself constantly that by the time the relationship ends, you start to view yourself as, well, these were the problems that I had. And because of these problems, I don't know how to fix myself. So when it comes to that relationship that you're talking about, this guy to this day is still calling you crazy. Do you feel like that relationship, do you feel like afterwards it had ever impacted the way that you viewed yourself?
Oh, for sure. While I was in it, it impacted how I viewed myself.
How so?
You know, when you're just not right for somebody, like, you can never really please them and they can never really please you, right? So I think we both did that to each other. Like, I made him feel like he wasn't good enough, and he made me feel like I was asking for too much, right? So it always made me feel like I was hyper aware of like my tone when I communicated. I was hyper aware of like, well, maybe I am asking for too much, or like maybe I don't deserve what I think I deserve, things like that. So it made me question my value, question my self-worth. And then when I got out of that shit, I stopped questioning it. Because you start to realize that like literally goes back to not taking anything personal. Like how he viewed me and how he viewed himself in that relationship is not about me. We're all mirrors to each other, right? So like the interactions we're having are highlighting those triggers that he's had from childhood, and he's highlighting triggers from my childhood. Because the only reason I'm really feeling unworthy of like what I'm asking for is because I haven't really understood like dealt with the abandonment issues. You know what I'm saying? From like having a father. So I think once I started like processing why I was feeling that way, it became less about him and more about like, okay, this is the area where I need to work on.
For me, being removed from the situation and finding myself in new situations, there's certain things that are done where it's like, oh, I didn't know that bothered me. Or, oh, like, why do you act like this? And it's just a lot of situations where it's like, how do I explain this to somebody that only halfway cares, right? Because when you start something new with somebody, you're supposed to hold all that back. You're not supposed to be triggered out the gate, right? And even if you are triggered out the gate, you gotta, at least for me, right? I'll be joking. I'll be like, oh shit, you gave me a war flashback type shit, right? and it lightens the mood, but at the end of the day, like it's like they don't really understand. Like that shit really bothered
Really did
me.
something to you? Yeah. I don't move like that. Like I literally just be honest. And then some people don't like that. I was telling you this. Like that's why people don't be who they say they are. Cause they don't be genuine. Like I'm honest. Like if you make me feel away, I'm gonna tell you. Just out the gate. I think it's the way I tell you. But it's cause like if I'm just getting to know you, like you don't know how to treat me. I have to teach you how to treat me. The same way I don't know how to treat you. I don't know what triggers you, whatever. So it's like if you do trigger me, I have to let you know, like, yo, XYZ happened. This is how I feel about it. Okay, cool. And if you can move forward and do something different, cool. If you can't, then okay, cool. We can't rock, you know? But like, yeah, you gotta let that shit out. You gotta let people know, like, yo, and it don't even gotta be weird. It don't even gotta be deep. But these be the hard conversations people avoid. Like, you dealing with humans, like, you might make them feel away. Okay, so like just take it. Like, oh dang, for real? I made you feel away? Oh, okay, bet. Like, I could do something different next time. It's so simple. We just overcomplicate that shit.
Do you feel like the infidelity in that relationship impacted your self-worth?
It wasn't the infidelity. I'm a genuine believer. Like if somebody's gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat. It has nothing to do with me. It was more so like how he treated me in general. Like I just wasn't prioritized, you know? And also back then I was so like authentic. Like I feel like some men struggle with insecurities and they need women to make them feel better. So when he would do that, I'm like, oh damn, like you need this much attention. That's unfortunate. That's literally how I feel. Like that sucks for you that you need this much attention. And it sucks that you can't receive my love as enough for you. That really sucks for you. But I was also so authentic and honest. Like I would just come straight to him like, yo, like what's up? And it was just his inability to like change his ways that like tripped me up. And then also like he just wasn't treating me well. So I'm like, now I feel weird because I'm literally like open and honest with you. I'm letting you be yourself and you still treating me crazy. Now I feel weird. But it wasn't the infidelity itself.
And now you're called crazy.
Absolutely called crazy.
Was your need for expression what brought you back to music?
I was always going to write songs and music because I can't not do it. Like it's just in me. But what made me take it seriously was my community. Like I literally felt like I was blessed with people who believe in me. And it's pushing me and it's making me feel like it's worth my time and energy.
So then what is it that makes this run different than before?
I believe in myself more. Like I genuinely am like, I can see it now, you know? And I feel more grounded, honestly, in my faith. I think before, like, I didn't see the plan. And I think, like, I just got to a point where I was like, whatever God wants to do, then cool. And, like, then it started happening. And so, yeah, I feel, like, grounded in my faith. And I have people who are pushing me. And that makes the world of a difference.
I don't want to turn it negative. But seeing that you had been discouraged before, seeing the lack of support from people had pushed you away from pursuing your dream. Why walk away from the stability of being a teacher and having this full-time job behind you?
Because I love music too much. And because, like I told you before, I think life is about knowing God and knowing who you are and what your purpose is. And at this moment, I believe my purpose is to do music. And I have to see it through. So it's like, it's scary as hell. Like, I don't have a job. Ain't no money coming in. They just booted my car. Don't cut that out. Don't use that. No, I shouldn't use.
They just booted your shit?
Bruh, and it's like, it's actually crazy because like I'm so responsible financially, but when you put in all your like everything into your dream, sometimes things happen. And I don't encourage anybody to do that, but I'm just saying like this is everything right now. And you have to give your all to see it through. So that's what I'm doing. I'm seeing it through. And if this is what's meant for me, this is what's meant for me.
When people walk away from watching this, what do you want them to know about Miriah?
Honestly, I can't control how people perceive me, but I do want people to know that like that they're valuable. And I think that my whole point in doing all of this is to encourage everybody to like love themselves, love everybody around them better. And that means like being authentic. Like I want people to know that what they see is my truth. And I want that to make them feel safe telling their truth.
Love that. You got anything you want to plug?
Pride Kills is out. We literally just did 50K streams in a week, which is amazing. Please go listen to Pride Kills, share with your friends, tell everybody. Watch the YouTube video. Follow me on Instagram at Miriah World. I'm everywhere at Miriah World, MIRIH World.
Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Sad Boys for real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.